Alright, you can see the old trucks up front. Got two issues with it. One, the output yoke for the front drive shaft out of the transfer case is weeping between the yoke and the shaft. Oil's leaking between the yoke and the splines on the shaft. So I'm going to have to pull the yoke back off and either clean it all up real good, put some high tack on it, slide it back together, or something to get it to quit leaking. It's not loose or anything, but I've had that happen before. The other issue we got is number 2 intake valve. The roller lifter has left the building. So I called and talked to the engine builder, my machine shop guy, and he said we can do one of two things. He said you can bring me the truck and I'll do it. He said but he said I'm gonna tell you now, I'm so backed up. He said I probably won't even get to touch it for 30 days. And I said, well, I'll tell you what I do. If you pay for the parts, I'll do the work. So he said, I'd be willing to do that. I said, with me doing the work, though, we're going to put the cam in it I want to put in it. I'm not going back with what's in it. The one that's in it is a Comp Extreme Energy 4x4. I don't know the part number for it. Hydraulic roller. I already ordered a cam and lifter kit for it. Intake gasket, timing cover gasket, intake gaskets, valve cover gaskets. Everything I need for it. I ordered all of it yesterday from Summit. It's a Howard's, again, hydraulic roller, cam and lifter kit. New oil pump. But I'm going to pull the pan off of it. If there's anything in the pan, I'm going to clean it out, replace the oil pump, put a lighter weight oil in it, run the oil pump with a drill while I turn the motor over and try to push oil through everything and try to flush it out, then drop the pan off and drain it again until I get clean oil. Then we'll put it all back together. So, and it's got stamped steel rockers on it now. I'm gonna go ahead and put a set of stainless roller rockers on it because I don't like fucking with those lock nuts. I do what's called the 2 revolution method, where I just turn them all by hand, turn the motor a quarter turn, tighten them up by hand till they touch, and then go around and hit them all a half a turn, lock the poly locks down, and call it good. And I've never had to go back and readjust the valves. So, oh, another small issue is these pulleys are Speedmaster. Well, you guys got an alignment issue. This pulley don't line up with that one, and it squalls. And then the power steering pump lines up with the crank, but not the water pump. So I'm thinking it's the water pump pulley. So I went to Chevrolet and ordered a set of brand new stamped steel pulleys for it: crank, water pump, and power steering pump. And that's like a 1970 and down power steering pump with the bolt-on pulley. So, but yeah, it's already started. You can see it's already started chewing up the edge of the belts because they're not lined up right. Every time you rev it up, it squalls. But other than that, that's the only issues we've got with the old truck. And being on square body chassis, there's nothing under the oil pan, so it won't be hard to pull the pan off. It's easy. And then we're still dealing with the wife's Tacoma. I think I said in the other video that we took it when we bought it. We had them change the grill out from the one that had Toyota written across a big black bar to this honeycomb grill. And the tech tried to pry the grill surround out around the bumper and fucked the bumper cover up. They tried to touch it up. Then they said they repainted it, and they only painted this corner, and the paint didn't match. It looked like shit. And all the underneath sides, the clear coat wasn't even there. And then the wheel arch on the edge of the bumper cover. So they bought a whole new bumper cover for it. And it took getting 2 or 3 of them to get one that wasn't scuffed or dug into. Put it on it, painted it, put it on it. It's still lighter than the rest of the truck. And we'll see if you guys can see it in the video. But can you tell? I can see it looking through my phone that the bumper cover is lighter than the rest of the truck. Well, while it was over at Randy Colonel GMC for the second time, this happened. That happened. Toyota is done screwing with Legends Toyota. They're a third-party dealership. They're part of the Baxter Auto Group. They're tired of fucking with them. They're sending it over to another body shop to have them touch that up and fix that. I told them on the bumper cover, we'll just live with it. So they've offered to compensate us. They sent my wife a check for, what was it, $5,775 back to us. So, for all the bullshit. Having to deal with it because, as they said, it's a new truck. It should have been put back as new. And he said, by rights, the dealership should have traded us out of it and put us in something else. But they weren't willing to do it. All they wanted to do was buy us out of it with depreciation. So, but yeah, they sent us a check. It was $5,750. So, but other than that, this thing's doing fine. It sits here 180 degrees. Fans kick off and on like they should. Had a little issue with it not building pressure in the cooling system. And I had a pipe plug that was installed in the radiator that had no sealant tape or anything on it, and it was leaking pressure out around it. So we just Teflon taped that up, fixed that problem. And then I'm going to try to find something to support, make a bracket off the head or something right down from right here to support this hose so it ain't flopping around. So they're V6 hoses because the engine sets back a little further in the square body chassis with this body on it. So yeah, find something to keep that from flopping around. But other than that, man, this thing runs good, other than the damn lifter issue. So that, and then after a little bit, when I changed transmission fluid and filter, because I got TCI's break-in fluid in the transmission, I'm going to take that chrome pan off, throw it up on the wall like the other two I got in there, and I've got a just a black crinkle coated aluminum pan I got from Speedway, deep pan to put on it. And then right there's the transmission cooler. It's a big 30-row cooler. Same thing I got on the S10, except I got a fan on the one on the S10 that's mounted under the driver's seat. But I get to feeling better. I feel a whole lot better today than I felt the last 3 days. So I'll get out here and get on it, get it tore apart. Parts ought to be here Friday or Saturday, so I can get the cam swapped out in it and everything, and I'll get it all tore apart and ready to go. That's why it's nosed up under the porch here in the driveway, as close as I can get it, so I can keep the water off of it if it rains. So, and I can work on it in the shade, plug a fan in, set up here, do what I gotta do. Plenty of room, just park your ass up here on the fender or somewhere and work on it. The S10, the S10, we got all the brakes on it. The only thing I got to do is put the rest of the cage bars in, and it's done. But I'm going to try to get it out this weekend and get some video of it and get put up so you guys can see that thing, get after it. See if it looks as fast on video as it feels being in it. It looks like my son was out here going to start putting these little shock braces on. I got the ones for the front and the ones from the back from CCP Classic. I think it's a Classic Performance Parts. But the diffs are all full, fluid. Of course, you can see you got the covers on them. The brakes were all brand new, but the truck's set in the field. The chassis did for like 4 years, so we took all that apart and cleaned everything up. And I went ahead and put new pads on it. The shoes in the back were fine. And drilled out one bolt that was broke off in the axle and drilled it out and got it out and put a new bolt in it. I gotta get the back shocks on it, the front drive shaft after I fix, where you can see it's been seeping again, like I said, between the yoke and the shaft. Can't have that going on. Tighten it up, neaten up some wiring and stuff, and start driving it. Oh, got my tube steps on. Had to modify the one bracket a little bit. Drill another hole in it to get them level. Although they're for an OBS. And they go on the cab mounts. But the cab mounts are not quite the same. Because when this was done, the rubber isolators are flipped. The ones that should be in the front are in the back, and the ones in the back are in the front to get the cab to set right on the chassis. So it made the bracket off a little bit. So we just dropped it down on the bracket, drilled another hole in it, got it done. They're Westons. I don't know how long they'll last. I'll probably take them off and wipe them down and scuff them and clear coat them or something. I don't know. But it gives me something to step on to get in and out of it rather than trying to, you know, wear out the damn rocker stepping on it. So, but that's where I'm at on this. And this one's done. We're going to do some work to the El Camino, and then we're going to start on the boys S10. So I got some suspension work, brake work. I'm going to do the El Camino upgrades, change the transmission out in it, put the level 4 from FTI I had in the S10 in it. I just ain't going to do nothing with the trans brake because my wife will never use it. But she does like the reverse manual shift pattern, so lets her have a little fun. But that's all that's going on right now. I'm going to end the video here. I'm going to go back inside and set my chair, get me something to drink. Get over this bug the rest of the way. Finally got rid of the headache and the fever today. So, everybody, stay safe. God bless. Later.